Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited because I think I'm finally ready to start back recording regularly. Finally moved into my apartment. I have all my stuff, everything set up. I have found my pins, I found my ring light, have my camera and the charger. So, should be good to go. And coinciding with this, I have reached the 100th page in my war binder. Now, for me, 100 pages is not really a lot. I have a lot of previous war binders, so I typically fill up these journals fairly quickly anyway, but it still felt like something to celebrate, and especially since I've been gone for a while, I thought it would be a good time to do something to commemorate the moment, to make a video. So I decided that I'm going to go back through the evolution of my war binder, war journal setup situation. I'm going to start with where this idea kind of started to formulate, through how that kind of evolved up into the journal that I have today. And I will show you that 100th page where I decided I was going to take my chances at trying to be an artist. I think I'm still really more of a letterer, but it didn't turn out that bad. So stay tuned and we're going to jump into the video and let's see what happens. So this is where it all started. I started doing these for a Bible study that I was in with my friend, and I did simple cover page. I had a legitimate table of contents. It wasn't like how I do it now. I left a page for this, and I imposed these cool little things. You'll see this in my current bullet journal, but I have this paper that's super long, and I folded it and I turned it into something. As you can see, there's like bleed through where this paper is not that thick, but I use these kind of inserts throughout it. I don't know why. And then I just started journaling. This is what a lot of them used to look like. First word study I ever did. I had put in some artistic pages. I may go back to doing this. But these are almost all Bible studies. My headers are almost always the same. I did sermons. And, this is what kind of looked like. In the middle, I decided I should have some kind of guide. And I just kind of went through different Bible studies. I skipped a page. That's so me. Didn't always have a rhyme or reason. It's mostly Bible studies and sermons. I used to teach a youth class, so I used it to kind of plan out some of the lessons for them. I would keep track of my citations. I don't always write out my citations anymore. Don't know why, but they're there. They exist. And then I used these colored pages for like quotes. That was fun. But it looks very much kind of uniform. As you see, my word studies kind of have the same design. Didn't get too creative with it. I did add some stickers. But this is where it started. Colors. Church of Smyrna. That is in an interesting way. I thought it went the other way. I don't know. So just some. Oh, this was a fun one. Cut out some stuff, glued some images in. I actually did a similar study in my recent notebook, and so you'll see a similarity here. I'm a little bit more in depth in this one. Just for my own sanity, I do want to see, I think this one I started getting into like lineages at some point. I ended up with 117 pages. Good to know for myself. But I do think, yes. So I went through and researched some of the lineages from Genesis 10. This was a fun study. The Table of Nations. So I think this is where it starts. Basics, Noah had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Wrote some notes about it. And then I went through their lineages. So this is the lineage of Ham. It goes through and shows where these different countries stem from and the people, the meanings of the names. And then I did the same thing for Japheth and for Shem, which of course is way more complicated because this is where we get the tribes of Israel. But that was a fun study to do. So this was the beginning. After I finished this notebook, I went to this notebook. Gotta love this cover. I really did like this paper. I wish I could find it again for my next notebook, but I liked it. Goes with the theme, of course. This was actually more of a bullet journal. Got some vellum. Again, I did one of these open out things. I found this to be fun, so I wrote out the names of God. I have the shortest book, some of my favorite verses, the longest book, where the covenants are. This is a summary of the 7 days of creation. Wrote out some events, some people. This is basically a summary of the Old Testament. And then in here I have this map. I have a timeline at the top, and I have some summary information about the books of the Bible. Hopefully this is not glaring too bad, but this was fun to create. This was just me doing some stuff. I copied, remember I told you I created that lineage chart. I copied the lineage from Abraham down to the Messiah in here. I just thought that would be fun. This time I remembered to put a key in, and I put it up front. And this time I went with more of a bullet journal type of thing. I still did a table of contents. Guys, table of contents just never really worked perfectly for me, so you'll see things happening with those. But here, this is where I started doing my kind of Erin Condren style thing where these pop in and out. Let's put that back. So I started doing those for the monthly spreads. So this is where you start seeing division by month and things like that. I actually did draw this. This is colored pencil, and I got a little crazy with the themes and things like that, but this is kind of what it started to look like. I gave myself kind of like this plan up front of what I was going to read. I had some trackers that I was doing, which is kind of cool. I kind of like this page. Maybe I'll go back and do some of this. I kind of kept that heading from the before, but I started playing with things, and this is where you start to see a little bit more creativity. It's a little bit more artistic, I guess, even than what I have now. Kind of giving myself ideas for my next war binder. But, you know, this is where my pages start to look a little more varied. Start getting like some stickers, playing around with things. I do still have these similar headings, but I started playing with things, adding stickers. So I have Bible studies in here, and I would do like daily devotions. So I start doing things like this, but I'm also dating things. I don't really date things now, but this is how this book ended up kind of looking. And of course in the corners I would have like some to-dos and things like that. So it's kind of like a daily journal. This is when I was legit doing my daily devotions. I'm not doing so well with that now. But I also would do like book studies. So I read the book Pagan Christianity, and that's in here. Overall, I really enjoyed this. And I think this is what really inspired the current thing that I have. I do kind of like this in terms of wanting to go back to something similar to this. I don't know. But I did, let's see if we can skip forward. I still kept my youth lessons in here. I had kind of like themes that I went with. This is when I started adding in like little excerpts so you could do stuff like that. That was fun. Forgot I had done that. And then, you know, it goes through, clearly I didn't finish coloring things. I ended up doing kind of like a month in review thing, which I kept in this particular journal that I'm on now. I got super crazy when it came to the month of November. This was so much fun and so much work. This is inspired from a journal I did back in high school, and I created a font with this kind of animal print, and I decided to bring that in here, and I did a different font, a different animal print for each day, and then I copied this theme for the day of the week when I journaled, and it was so cool if I had actually had the time to pull it off every day. It was a lot of work, but I will show you what ended up happening. Please excuse my neighbors honking outside. Okay. All right. So as you can see, this is the first day. I copied the zebra print theme over here, and then I did some stuff over here. I had like things I was grateful for. I had some priorities and to-dos. I had my, you know, Bible studies and my daily devotions. The date, like I thought this was a really cool setup. I even found like a zebra sticker to put on here, and I did the page numbers to match. That was fun. Then we did like giraffe and cheetah or leopard, whatever this is. And as you can see, like this, it was really a cool setup. I really like this. But it started to become kind of burdensome, as you can tell here. I did the peacock feathers in here, but I didn't get to doing it in here. I'm not even sure if I finished. I do think I finished Jeremiah 43. It just wasn't a lot that I had to say about it, but this page ended up looking pretty blank. And then I tried to keep it going. It got kind of weird when things went over to the next page because this is really like a one-page type of a layout. So this ended up looking a little janky, but you know, it is what it is. And then, you know, I tried to keep things going. This one worked out because it ended up being on 2 pages. And so I just kind of kept trying. And then as you see in here, I started dropping the ball on filling in things. And then when I got to this one, I was just like, oh, a flamingo, let's just color it pink. Like, we're not gonna try to draw flamingo feathers or anything like that. And then didn't even do anything on this page. And I kept going. And as you can see, I started kind of giving up on the artistic versions of these things. I just started, you know, doing whatever, maybe adding some color, skip the whole page. This is a whole day, I think. I'm not sure why I skipped it. Yeah, things just started not going well because it was so much for this art. Started out some goals. December, I don't think I even did a monthly tracker because I got so tired, so exhausted from trying to do the planning. But I did do some studies, so things started to look a little different in here. This. And so, you know, December got really boring. Did kind of like a summary. And then I created this page for 2020. Still didn't really do anything specific for January. Kept it low key. Started doing some like planning. And then we go back to kind of more in-depth studies. I did have fun trying to design these music notes. That was kind of cool. I was doing a study from pagan Christianity about music in the church. So I kept kind of this snowy theme, even though I hate snow and I've not really seen a lot of snow. This is actually the beginning of 2020, guys. So crazy. It's the beginning of 2020, right before COVID hit. This is what I was doing. And so a lot of this looks pretty similar. You know, nothing super out of the ordinary. Ended up doing this collage of places I thought would be cool to visit. I don't know, a Bible study on prophecy. Some memories. Started adding that in. Adding in things that I dreamed. And as I was getting in here, this is kind of when I started having ideas for my current war binder situation. So I don't think I actually finished. I definitely didn't fill up pages here because February goals is completely blank. But I started trying some different things. This is where things, like, I'm using basically the same color. It's not really that interesting, but, you know, I'm still getting some things done. Started a youth lesson and ended up not finishing it because I actually didn't have to teach that day. And that's kind of where things ended. So I ended this on page 143-ish, give or take some blank pages. So when I got here, as you can see, there's actually still a good bit of paper here, and I used the back pages to kind of do some planning. But I was kind of annoyed with this setup. I didn't like it. The book was also very heavy. As you can see, I have this coil bind here. It's metal, it's heavier. So that's when I started the other war binder. You guys have actually seen this. There's a video up. I will link it now. This is the one I introduced you to. This is when it actually became more of a war binder. This was started in 2020. I definitely gave you guys a flip through, so I'm not gonna flip through this one. I just want to, for my own edification, kind of comparing how big these got just for my own knowledge. And I do have a tendency to get a little impatient at the end and start a new one and have like a couple of pages left over. I don't know why I do that. I think it's the desire to have a new journal or just new setups that I want to check out, things like that. So this one also went to page 140 something. This is 141. So about 140, 150 pages before I am just like, I want to go to another page, or another journal. So that is this one. Like I said, I've linked the original video that walks through this journal. And then that brings us to the current war binder. So this is what I have now. And I showed you guys the beginning at the beginning of the year when I was setting it up. So you've seen a lot of the beginning pages. I'm just going to kind of skip over them. I ended up doing some cool things that I guess I will point out. I ended up doing this Fruit of the Spirit tracker. People in the bullet journal community do my level 10 life, and they pick certain things and they try to get level 10 in those aspects of their life: family, career, finances. I don't know. It's just like a lot of things. I decided to remix that and do it for the Fruit of the Spirit, and I asked myself some questions, did some reflecting on where I think I am. And probably in June, which will be the halfway point of the year, I will go back and reflect on this and see like how I've progressed and if I'm doing any better, if I'm doing worse. So that was pretty cool. In the last one, I showed you that I was doing a book study on pagan Christianity. In this one, I have pages from this book called Keep It Shut that I've been doing a book study on. So that's been fun. You'll see that a lot. I did kind of get tired of the themes that I'd chosen color-wise, so I switched that up midway. But I did keep some of the doodle themes that I chose, so that will be seen throughout. I did keep like bullet journaling in the beginning. I got rid of that. I don't know what it is, but for some reason it throws off my war binder, so I don't know. We'll see. I did keep monthly layouts though. So I did this made me happy, this rainbow thing. I looked up the symbolism of different colors in the Bible. It was fun. I continued to do these word studies, and then I started adding in these blackout pages. I had fun with that. I have some metallic brush pens now, and of course my Sakura jelly rolls, and I wanted to test them out on this super dark paper that I've gotten. I wish it was dot grid so I could do like something like this on it. Still looking for black dot gridded paper that I can put in my journal, because my printer is not letting me print on them, but I still have been having fun with it anyway. And then, you know, I have my gratitude log. I'm gonna skip this page because it is a prayer request, but I still did like the monthly reviews, memories that have happened. This actually was a great sermon. I highly recommend it. This is a sermon series I listened to by Pastor Ivor Myers. Then I did a study on the seal of God. And as you can see, this is where I was still doing some bullet journaling, my keep it shut studying, more of this. This was on my Instagram channel. I bought a shirt called the Periodic Table of Black Excellence, and it had a bunch of Black history facts. I thought it was really cool, and I decided to replicate that for people of the Bible or places of the Bible. So I did places, covenants and signs, prophets, disciples, feast days, gifts from God. I can't read this. I think this says patriarchs, women, leaders, servants of God. I don't know, but it was so much fun to do this. It was a little crazy, but I had a lot of fun. The science nerd in me liked it. More of that sermon series. March, I kind of miscalculated. I usually do the month in review on the back of the month calendar page, but it worked. I made it work. Wrote a letter to God in this. So this is, I mentioned before, I did a study on Daniel with the statue. This one is actually on Daniel 11, which goes over some of the same information, but it was fun. It was cool. I again did some maps. I did this little fold out thingy again, which is always fun. And this tape is actually not, it's just decorative. The page is one. It lets you include a lot of information. I reinforced it with Scotch tape so that it will be sturdy. But I had a lot of fun with that, and this study actually was very long. Ended up putting citations back in, so that, you know, comes and goes. And then, you know, here's where I started switching up some colors. I didn't like the yellow all the time. Yellow was driving me crazy. More Bible study type things. So I'm skipping prayer lists just because I write other people's prayers on them, and they probably don't want their prayers broadcast to the world. This was one of those times I tried something I saw on the internet to get like watercolor effects, and it got really messy and went all over the page. Didn't go the way I thought it would, but I still think this page looked kind of cool. April got super hectic near the end of the month because that's when I was moving. So I didn't actually finish checking off things. I did things that I didn't say. And I actually did not do a month in review for April. And now that it's the end of May, I don't really remember April to go back and do this month in review. Hectic. I kind of feel like I'm gonna go back and just write the word hectic. But I also, you will see this on my Instagram channel, as well as I linked it and post the pictures on the blog. This is the 7 Words of Justice series that I talked about, or sermon series that I talked about in my last podcast episode. So this was really powerful, really enjoyed it. I taped the edges so that I could find it easily to come back for reference. And afterwards, I had trouble with the books of the Bible, not like what the books of the Bible were, but like who wrote them and when they were written. So I went back and created this page so that I could see all of the books of the Bible, when they were written, who they were written by, and reference this. So this was a fun page to do. Went through Psalm 22. This was actually a thought that I had during that 7 Words of Justice series. They talked about Psalm 22 and I wanted to go back and look at it. Again, more of the book study. And then May. So fun fact, I actually did this page, this journal page on the calendar of May. I did this like 2 days ago because I just got all of my stuff. So this is when I started journaling in May on like the 28th or 27th. Which is really sad. I debated whether I wanted to even put this page in here since the month is gone. But I did want to do a reflection of May because it was hectic and a lot of major things happened in my life. So I have left this page blank to do that. I started doing this ABCs of character to kind of get myself back in the habit of journaling, thinking about different traits. When I was in elementary school, we had this thing called life skills and we had to learn about them, and I was trying to remember them and I jotted them down, and then I started thinking of ones that I would have added to the list as an adult. Of course, they could have been on the list and I just don't remember them because kindergarten was a while ago. And then I started looking in the Bible to see if the Bible talked about these like life skills or character skills that make us good people. And so it was kind of fun to just research these things and think about how they fit. Some things I still haven't written in. Like I haven't actually looked up whether the Bible talks about flexibility or initiative. I'm pretty sure it does talk about your mentality, but I haven't like written it out or anything like that. So this page is still a work in progress, but it was a good way to go back into journaling. And then I read through Malachi 1 to start off the Sabbath on Friday. And then I listened to another sermon and got back into the habit of my journaling. And then hopefully this is not glaring, but this is lucky number page 100. Just making sure this is all on camera. I saw this on Pinterest. It is the 23rd Psalm, and I just thought it would be really fun to try to copy this and pretend like I'm an artist for a day and not just a letterer. It's interesting because I guess the handwriting is okay, but I had a little trouble with the blending. But it's still a beautiful picture. So this is where I am now in my journal, and I hope this was inspiring for you. I know for me personally, seeing other people's creations, other people's journals, other people lettering, it inspires me to keep going, and that's part of what makes it fun. And then by combining the fact that I'm focusing on the subject of God, that's how it keeps me focused. Like, because I want to do this artsy thing, I want to journal, and I'm using scripture to inspire the journaling, so it helps me to do that kind of daily devotion or weekly devotion. As you saw in some of the previous journals, there were times where I was actually doing this daily. I don't get enough time to do that now, but it does help motivate me. And so hopefully sharing this with you will help motivate you as well. In the meantime, feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always find me on Instagram, and I'm happy to be back, so I will see you guys more regularly. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.